Hello and welcome to the Dry Animal Podcast with Wesley Bear. I'm your host, Wesley Bear, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the Bulldog bat, otherwise known as the greater Bulldog bat or the fishing bat. So the fishing bat is a rather large bat, at least in terms of the general sized bats, um, that is found throughout most of Central and South America, from Mexico all the way through Central America, all the way down both sides of South America to about Argentina. It is also mostly found throughout the Caribbean as well, so places like Haiti, Cuba, places like that. Most of the Caribbean islands also have bulldog bats, but they're often also on coastal areas and smaller islands. So anywhere that's coastal, where there's a good source of large body of water, um, there are bulldog bats. So big bat with long, narrow wings found throughout most of Central South America and the Caribbean. The bulldog bat is best known as the fishing bat, and this is because they are one of the few bats to feed almost exclusively on fish. They have specially designed long yellow hooked claws that allow them to catch fish just above the surface of the water. They can catch fish about 100 millimeters in size and even, if necessary, catch fish about 25 millimeters above the surface. So very not huge fish and also not fish deep down. They won't plunge or anything, so they'll just basically skim along for they can skim for quite a while, but anything that touches those sensitive nerve endings in their feet and claws will basically, they'll automatically hook like hooks and carry away fish. They will actually eat until the about the moment they're ready to catch fish. They will also, as they're gliding along, use echolocation, just like most bats do for anything that flies in there. They catch like all your flying insects that many bats, uh, other bats eat. They will do the same thing with fish, and then they will turn off the signal, probably and presumably because just like insects that kind of can sense that stuff, there might be some motion sensing that the fish can do. So the minute right before they catch the fish, they'll stop echolocating and go "Troop," and pick up a fish out of the water. They also will change their echolocation because bulldog bats are fairly social, not highly social like some bats are, but they are still pretty social. There could be up to 30 and sometimes even like 50 bats in a location. So, of course, especially when you're skimming along a huge body of water and there's, maybe a limited source like a lake, it's important as everyone's trying to uh, swim around that one major water source not to bump into each other, and so they'll actually change the frequency an extra octave in order to avoid bats bumping into each other. At least that is a presumption that scientists have made based upon behavioral studies. Uh, Bulldog bats also um, uh, are known for their kind of run-ins over fish because of this. Thankfully, bulldog bats are mostly least concerned, but there has been some collisions with humans due to fish hatcheries or places where fishermen will frequent regularly. There are have been some human conflict, but thankfully, um, bulldog bats as a whole, due to their wide range and pretty commonality, are still least concerned. Um, They will also, in addition, not rely solely on um, fish for their diet. They will eat insects as necessary. Uh, as you know, if you've studied animals that eat fish, they're known as piscivores, and piscivores are able to um, develop develop most piscivores develop teeth that are specialized for fish, but because you're basically chewing through bone, much like you would the exoskeleton of a insectivore. Fishing bat teeth are actually not that much different from insecting bats, so they can adjust to eating insects and other related creatures if necessary, depending on changes in climate, water levels, and so on. In fact, they actually feed more on fish during the dry season than the wet season, at least according to one study of bats in one location in the Caribbean. This is probably due to the fact that, like, um, in wet conditions, there's a lot of rain, so the water levels are much more elevated. So fish have more places to go, more places to hide, and the water's much more deeper. So it's much harder to catch fish actually during the wet season than the dry season when those lakes and rivers tend to, evaporate and lose water. So making, of course, less place for the fish to go. So that may be a explanation for the seasonal changes in fishing bat diets. Um, they will um, produce about one uh, pup at a time. They'll breed from about September to January, um, and will carry that baby to term after just 2 months, and then basically within a month, um, maybe two, the baby is ready to go out on its own. So while there is not a huge amount of bats, they at least breed again frequently enough that there's pretty much no concern of decline overall. There might be decline in some areas, but that general breeding has made bulldog bats still pretty common, thankfully. Um, yeah, so there you are, the bulldog bat. An important thing to note is that in the picture and in the drawing I did, it is a male uh, bulldog bat. Male bulldog bats are more reddish, sometimes orangish in color. Meanwhile, females are a dark to mediumish brown color, maybe even a bit grayish. But males are much more brighter than females. So that's just one final note. So there you are, the bulldog bat. Um, if you would like to learn more, you can check out the rest of my channel for more animals. And my books, the Crazy Creatures series, is available on Amazon under my name, Wesley Bear. And yeah, and hopefully I'll be providing more info soon. I'm looking at updating my uh now that I finally have time updating my website and also being on Zazzle. It's been a while. I haven't had the time or playing, but I think I've gotten some people on board that can help me, and just there'll be more time in uh, my day to do that. So hopefully that'll come out very soon. All right. Thanks so very much for listening, and have a great day.